Welcome to the Conflict Zone, a channel dedicated to informing about major conflict points around the world.
In this video, we discuss the loss of Ukraine's first F-16 fighter jet in the war, how this loss occurred, and why it is likely far from being the last.
Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell to stay updated with all our latest news.
According to an official statement by the Ukrainian government on Monday, August 26th, during one of the largest and most devastating Russian attacks involving drones and missiles against Ukrainian cities, a Ukrainian F-16 fighter jet went down, with the pilot tragically losing his life. But who was the pilot? What exactly happened? And why is this lost aircraft likely not going to be the last? The pilot of the jet was Lieutenant Colonel Alexei, codenamed Moonfish. He was well known in the United States, having visited the country in June 2023 to urge American congressmen and senators to approve the release of fighter jets for Ukraine's defense. He even recorded a video during the training phase, sharing his experiences with the F-16. Despite being only 30 years old, he was a highly experienced pilot who had commanded a squadron of MiG-29 fighters during the Russian invasion. He was one of the first Ukrainian pilots to transition from the MiG-29 to the F-16 at a location that remains classified. As for the cause of the crash, information is still scarce. The Ukrainian government has announced that investigations are ongoing, but two main hypotheses have emerged. The first suggests that the jet may have been accidentally shot down by a Western anti-aircraft missile due to communication failures between various teams. The second hypothesis points to possible mechanical failure, pilot error, or simply an accident during a particularly challenging mission. Intercepting cruise missiles at very low altitudes. The main factor that makes a cruise missile so deadly is the difficulty in detecting it by radar due to its low-altitude flight. A cruise missile, such as those from the Russian Kaliber family, can fly between 50 and 150 meters above the ground, meaning that even small hills or buildings can block ground-based radar systems, making it very difficult, if not impossible, to intercept these threats with ground-based missiles. However, radars mounted on aircraft, such as those on the F-16 fighters currently flying over Ukraine, can detect these missiles from over 100 kilometers away due to their elevated position. This is precisely why Ukraine reported that its F-16s were heavily employed in defending against this attack. According to the statement from Kyiv, the Ukrainian pilot reportedly shot down 3 cruise missiles and 1 drone before the tragic accident, indicating that he was flying very low and likely maneuvering at low speeds. This combination of low speed and low altitude can be fatal in a fighter jet, as even a momentary loss of lift can cause the aircraft to crash, leaving the pilot with very little time and space to react, potentially not even enough time to eject, especially if he was focused on the sensors and weapon systems. This possibility supports the accidental crash hypothesis, as Ukrainian pilots are still new to the F-16. The time required to fully train a combat pilot capable of extracting 100% of a jet's capabilities is at least 2 years. But Ukraine was forced to do this in less than a year, giving experienced Soviet-era fighter pilots NATO aircraft they had never flown before. This combination of unfamiliar aircraft, different control responses, and the stress of air combat may have been fatal and could partly explain the loss of this F-16. However, the other hypothesis of accidental friendly fire cannot be dismissed. Today, Ukraine has the highest concentration of air defenses in the world, with hundreds of batteries spread across its territory. On Monday, August 26th, all these batteries were on high alert, knowing they were facing the largest Russian air attack of the war. When the Ukrainians looked at their radars, they saw hundreds of points rapidly approaching their targets, with clear and unequivocal orders: shoot them down. Ukrainian F-16s are equipped with IFF identification friend or foe systems to identify them as non-hostile aircraft. But these systems can fail, as they have in the past, so the possibility of friendly fire cannot be ruled out. What is currently ruled out, however, is the hypothesis of aerial combat between fighters, the famous dogfight, with pro-Russian channels and sources only reinforcing the friendly fire hypothesis. Regardless, this likely won't be the last time an F-16 is lost in Ukraine. The cause will certainly be determined, and Ukraine and its allies will do everything possible to minimize the chances of such incidents happening again in this brutal European war, the most intense conflict in the last 80 years.
If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure to do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with the latest news. See you in the next video.
If we're talking about air-to-air superiority, so basically the Russians have obvious technical advantages over our fighter jets, and we not believe the numbers say that providing us with US-made fighter jets would make us at least matching them, or I believe even more advanced. On the other hand, providing those jets is also, we see it as a very important thing to protect Ukraine from further escalation from Russia.